up, y'all? It's K right here. I'm back at it with another good video for you guys today. Yeah, let's get right into it, man. Let's talk about the Vargas brothers. Are they hype jobs or are they the real deal? Alright, so let's get right into it, man. We're gonna be talking about Fernando Vargas Jr. I don't know how to really explain this, but as far as the Vargas brothers go, not all of their skill sets are complete, but when I look at them from the outside looking in, I don't see that much improvements that they're being trained with. And when we look at Fernando Vargas Jr.'s box rec, he's not the best fighter out there, but he's decent. And you know, he's now moved down to super welterweight, obviously a way more stacked division compared to the middleweight division that he was once at. I'm not really too surprised because I'm pretty sure at middleweight he wasn't really getting any good notable fights that paid you know, any good amount of money. So I think with this Alejandro Martinez fight, this fight kind of made a little bit, you know, sorry. I think this fight made no sense whatsoever because you're fighting a guy with 6 fights total, but he doesn't really provide anything to the table. And I think this is more like a stay busy fight. Obviously Fernando, he fought back in May. That was on the Triller card. Don't know what happened with them. I don't know if they're still continuing that deal with Triller. I think they're probably free agents at this point. But yeah, the Vargas brothers, I'm not too sold on them. I mean, they are okay fighters, but they are not world beaters yet, and I don't think so. I think with Fernando's skill set, he's just more like a come forward, walk you down southpaw. Has a lot of power, great punching power, but this is 154. This ain't 147, and 154 is a very, very glory, deadly division. A lot of dogs in this division. A lot of guys that know how to set their shots up perfectly, and all it takes is one good shot to get you out of there. And looking at the competition, there's a lot of great lions and sharks and dragons in this division. And yeah, you know, we're gonna find out what's gonna happen, because I think what happens in this division will show who's actually wanting to be great in the division. I think based off of what I'm seeing here, I think Fernando Vargas Jr. will eventually face some upper echelon names, but I don't think it's gonna happen soon. I think it's gonna happen within a couple fights from now. But I think how he's being moved right now, it's not really too promising that he's gonna be ready for any like top dogs. Because, you know, if he is, then fine. I mean, it's, you know, it's good to build up a fighter as good as you can, but the problem that I have with Mexican fighters that are overhyped, just like Filipino fighters in a way, same thing, but they get hyped up to a point where people really think that they're good, but the minute they step up one little bit, somebody that actually wants to knock you smooth the fuck out, they get absolute cooked. And I think a good example of any fighter that I criticize is Jose Gonzalez, because he is a rising lightweight fighter that's on the Golden Boy stable, and look at the competition that he's with. You really think that guy is going to be making any traction in the lightweight division? And I will tell you right now, with the opponents that he's facing, he is not going nowhere. And I'm just keeping it real, because with Golden Boy fighters, they do the same thing over and over and over. I may be acting like a douchebag, but it's really not, because this is respectful criticism. It's not me being an absolute idiot or retard, because it's really not. Because I do this to my own fighters that I like, Black Americans, Puerto Ricans, Cubans. It doesn't matter who the fuck you are. The problem that I have with fighters that are overhyped is that they don't want to admit failure when it's in front of them. And once they do admit failure, they're never to be seen. Like Leon Lawson III. When this motherfucker got his ass beat the fuck up by Nathaniel Gallimore, you mean to tell me that they couldn't run that shit back the minute when he lost? But ever since then, he's been very, very quiet. Why is that? What happened to Leon Lawson? He was supposed to be like the next big thing coming out of Detroit. Because why? He came up with Clarissa and all the other fighters that were being propped up out of the Detroit area. But now he's nowhere to be talked about because all it took was one loss to stagger his career, and now he's never to be talked about at all. But let's take a look at Jose Gonzalez's record, and let's see if this is going to scale to the high level. I'm just going to go by his last 5-6 fights. Jose Angulo. This guy is absolute garbage. He was never this good to begin with. Fought guys that were somewhat decent, lost to some good competition, but not really good competition. He's lost to C-level, B-level opposition. The thing about him is that he was not coming to win. He was not really coming to be aggressive and actually try to take the fight to Jose. So that was a fight that he gave up, and he arguably did not want to make adjustments. But that was a fight that he screwed up on his behalf. On top of that, with his previous opponent, Jairo Lopez. This guy had a little bit more experience than him, but he still stopped him. Let's take a look at his record. Let's see what he's done. Oh, yeah. This guy is not doing anything. Why? Because he got stopped and he got beat by higher level opposition. But with the Jose Gonzalez loss, where is he going from here? Hold on. He beat him what year? Yeah, 2022, as of recently. So he got KO'd by Jose, and he hasn't gotten any better any since. So this is a guy that's been losing decisions, and he got knocked out by other up-and-coming fighters. So yeah, it's just not getting any better, man. Like, this is how Golden Boy moves their fighters. But let's take a look at the other opponents. Gabriel Gutierrez and Miguel Angel Mendoza. I'm just gonna skim through this because this is so easy to do. Oh wow, came off of losing records. So he came off of like 2 good wins, or decent. No, he came off of 2 TKO victories against guys that didn't have that much experience. But he comes right back in with Jose, gets cooked, and then he gets beat up by, up and coming, what people call prospects or whatever. But now he's getting back in the ring with Alan Garcia, who's another undefeated cat that's probably gonna go in there and knock him out really really bad. But it's just like, that's just how it really goes, man. It's just like, dude, it's just real sad, man. It like this is not how you bring up fighters, man. Like, fighters are not supposed to be put into that position where they think that they're the shit by just beating up on lower level opposition. But let's take a look at this draw with Ivan Delgado. This guy was never to be that good, but I remember when this guy got stopped by Carl Dargan in the past. But leading up to the Jose Gonzalez fight, he actually had some pretty good opposition. He lost to Charles Huerta. Hasn't fought really anybody good, but I can tell just based off of like how much he's experienced from the win-loss column This is like the one fighter he had a draw with, and he never wanted to run it back with him. So, ever since he had this draw, he's been facing guys that were never that good to begin with. So, I mean, this is how this is how you peel off a banana or a pineapple of how a fighter be moving in boxing, because you can easily tell that they are not as good as they say they are. See, now I could be wrong. I think any fighter that proves me wrong, I will give them credit. But until then, it's all harmful criticism, because I have to be, because I can't trust you. But looking at Jose Gonzalez himself as a fighter, he's not the fighter that people try to make him out to be, where he's gonna be the ultimate badass taking everybody out. And it's like, these people that gaslight fighters like that usually end up being so wrong at the very end, because their fighter isn't putting in that work to be great. But when we take a look at Fernando Vargas Jr., he's the same way, because you cannot tell me that this is how they move. 6-0, but look at the records. The guys that he's fighting are not good. Terrence Jarman, okay, who the fuck is he? He's a nobody. And this is like a guy that came off of like a 3.5 year layoff just to get knocked out by Fernando Vargas. Get the fuck out of here, man. But that's just how these fighters move, man. Shout out to Ricky Williams, but men move like a certain way, man. You gotta look at how like a man moves in and out the ring, because that's how boxing is. It's comparable and metaphoric to everyday human life. But I'm not gonna sit here and say that Fernando Vargas is good, because he's not good. But you know what? We'll find out, man. We'll find out, if he's really ready for all that smoke, because I don't think so. I think Fernando Vargas will get absolutely destroyed and mauled at 54. But you know what? We'll find out, because I'm going to do the same thing with his other two brothers, and I'm going to show you where their skill level is at just based off of who they're fighting. So we'll take a look at Amado Vargas, 22 years old, 4-0 with 2 knockouts. So he has a fight coming up November 26th. Okay, so he's probably fighting on the same card, probably on the Prograis and Zepeda card, hopefully. But look at his opponents. You mean to tell me for a 4-0 kid, he couldn't fight a guy that's like 1-0, 2-0, 3-1, at least 4-1, like at least fight a guy that has 2 to 3 wins, undefeated. But no, you didn't want to do that. You wanted to fight guys that don't have a good record. These guys are now blown out fighters. Like his very first opponent got stopped 7 times already, and now with this opponent, who same thing. Like 30 years old, cab driver, probably not that good to begin with. Like garbage. This guy already has 7 losses. Like he's 22 years old. That's sad. Anel Dudo, it's just terrible, man. Like, these guys don't help you get any better. But that's just like the name of, how these fighters move, man. That's the name of the game. It's just, let these young cats just get fed, weak opposition so they can feel comfortable mentally up inside of the head. But it's like, once they get in there with some killers, man, it's all going to show. But let's see with Emiliano Vargas. Let's just take a look at his first opponent. And let's see if this is like a great stepping stone to say he's going to be like the goods. Because people call this man to be like the future pound for pound king, Vasyl Lomachenko type fighter. Even though he's orthodox, so I don't know why you would compare him to Loma. But his very first opponent is a 1-on-1. Let's take a look at him. He is 23 years old. He has 2 losses. Got cooked by Emiliano Vargas. And even in his second fight, surprisingly, he had a split decision loss to Luciano Ramos. which I don't even know who the hell this guy is, but still, it's like you already see where the play is. Like the Vargas brothers, like I don't need to explain too much out of them. I'm pretty sure they could prove to me otherwise if they're gonna be good. But we already know how they're moving. And my case in point of how I'm, looking at how they're being built up, they're not, daring to be great. I'm just keeping it real. Like, I don't think the Vargas brothers are showing me anything different of how their matchmaking can be better. Because if they want good matchmaking, what Emiliano Vargas should do, he should go ahead and beat up on that ass with Keyshawn Davis. Because, if he's all that hot shit that people like to say that he's good at doing, then put his ass in there with Keyshawn Davis. Give this, give him some time, let him go with like 2 to 3 fights, but after those 2 to 3 fights are over, I want to see you in there with Keyshawn Davis. Go for it. Have like a 6-rounder, 6-rounder fight or 8-round fight. That's not gonna hurt you, right? Because he says he puts in all that sparring in, he gets all that work in. If you get all that great work in, and you're gonna be this future world championship level fighter that your other 2 brothers, including your father, gas you up for, then you shouldn't have any problem facing, up and coming, fighters that are rookies, just like you right now. So I don't see the problem for it. If Emiliano Vargas, if he's gonna be moved fast in his career, he should go after guys like that. That's all. But I understand why people don't want to talk about that, because people don't want to see their favorite fighter like him get knocked the fuck out and cooked so early in their career. And I'm just keeping it real. Like, there's nothing wrong with protecting a fighter, but do not tell me that your fighter is going to be dominating everybody when that time comes for them to step it up. Because when they're not going to step it up and they're going to sit behind closed doors and pretend that they're good, that's where I have a problem. Because you have a mentally retarded mindset to believe that they're going to be great without putting in that work. And if they're not going to do that and you're going to keep making excuses, it's the same fucking analogy with using Bud Dick Rider logic to say Terrence Crawford has no accountability with what he did with his career, but it's okay because his dick riding fans defend him to do it. So, case in point, it's the same thing, with the Vargas brothers. If they want to be great, if they want to be good fighters, they have to put in that work. Because if you don't want to put in that work, but yet you're trying to find like an easy way to the title, it's not going to work like that. So, either way, it's going to be interesting to see how the Vargas brothers will grow in their careers. But I don't think their scaling is too high. I think altogether, combined, their skill level is definitely below sea level opposition. But I think eventually, once the competition gets way tougher, their names will not be as marketable. Once they meet, some tougher level names that will eventually beat them. But that's pretty much it of what I have to say about them. Not too high on those type of athletes. I think eventually in due time they'll probably disprove it to me, and I would hope so. But I can't stand behind 3 brothers that really look at their father being like an all-time great. But just to remind you guys, Tito Trinidad knocked your father out smooth, unconscious. So I'm just keeping that real. That's something that you guys have to live, for the rest of your life. So yeah, Tito Trinidad owns the Vargas family. But yeah, that's just pretty much what I have to say. And I'll see you guys later on it. And yeah, peace out, man. Alright, so let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.